But, Charles, we start at the quarterback position every time we do this. Joe Flacco coming off of a Super Bowl, but is Ben Roethlisberger still the top quarterback in this division?
He's still the guy, let's face it. I mean, we're talking about the number of Super Bowls he's gone to and the numbers he's put up over time. I also feel like he feels like he's got something to prove this year.
That's a good thing for them. Now, you look at the offensive line. They put a lot of resources into making this offensive line better able to protect Ben Roethlisberger. Where do they sit right now as you look at their offensive line?
Well, you know that they're solid right here. Marquise Pouncey, you're talking about a Pro Bowl, All-Pro center. David DeCastro was hurt before he could give them much play last year. It was a first-round pick. In a sense, they're getting an extra first-round pick with him back this year. But the proving ground this year is going to be at the tackles position. Marcus Gilbert, a second-rounder. Mike Adams, also a second-rounder. Both of them have to come out this year and prove that they can play it the Steelers' way. Remember, Mike Adams talked them into taking him last year. This is a big year for him.
And if we look at the tackle position, if they were going to try and address that with the 17th pick up there in the first round, I think the top three guys are going to be long gone. Jokel's going to be gone. Fisher's going to be gone. Lane Johnson's going to be gone. So that leaves us with who for them to choose from if they wanted to do that with their first pick.
Well, at this point now we're talking about possibly a DJ Fluker from Alabama, a big mauler, road grading type of a guy. And we're also thinking about Menelik Watson from Florida State. Now, he's a little bit more of a project. Hasn't played that much. Was a basketball player back in the day. So we got to figure out what's going to happen with these guys. Can you put one on one side? Can you put one on the other side? Possibly. Yeah. One of those two would be what they'd have to look at as far as tackles.
And we look at the rest of their offense. We look quickly at tight end. We got Heath Miller coming off of an injury. I don't think you're going to see them designate maybe a first or a second-round pick there. But a name that I watched and I thought, this kind of reminds me of a Steeler to me. Kelsey from Cincinnati. His brother, we had him in Philadelphia. He is a combo tight end. He can block, he can catch. He has Steeler kind of written all over him there in the third round.
How about him, a high school quarterback? Went to Cincinnati for a while. Actually played some Wildcat back there. Yep. So you know he's athletic. And with Matt Spaeth coming in, who's a big-time blocker, this guy's much more of a combo, but has that toughness that you know the Steelers would like.
And we look quickly at running back here. We got Dwyer, we got Redmond. Nothing that really blows your socks off here. If they were going to do something in the first round, there's really only one name, isn't there?
Well, okay, Steelers, you think power running back. That'd be Eddie Lacy, right? So he would be the guy there from Alabama. Big, thick, strong runner inside. He can pound away.
If we didn't want to do it at 17, is there anybody at 48 that might make sense?
Well, the offensive coordinator, and you mentioned this in our meeting, Todd Haley, what does he like to do with running backs?
He's had a lot of those smaller guys everywhere he's been. He's tried to mix them in. Jonathan Franklin, to me, makes a lot of sense
from
as well.
UCLA fits that mold about what Chubb. Remember the Rod Stevens howling previously, right? He had him in Arizona. Then, of course, they tried to do it with Chris Rainey previously in Pittsburgh.
Now, let's slide down here to the defensive side of the board. We got a lot of age here. They could go in a number of directions, but what stands out to you the most in terms of the front, their linebacker situation, or their secondary in terms of where they need the most help?
Well, we're still thinking pass rush. That's what the Steelers do, right? I mean, got to get Lamar Woodley back into the form that he was displaying before. Last year wasn't a banner year for him. We already know about a key loss in James Harrison. So if you're thinking about linebacker now, we wouldn't have mentioned this name previously, Jarvis Jones from the University of Georgia. Then he had the tough pro day, didn't run real fast. If he slides, the slide stops here in Pittsburgh. He's what they're looking for. Big, strong, athletic guy on the outside. He would be that guy. Another name from LSU, Barkevius Kiki Mingo, and we noticed that the people had said that about LSU. And Mingo, he could be another guy the Steelers would look at. He fits the mold.
And when we look at the secondary, two players that could be there when they pick that would give them some young depth and some athleticism. Look at Rhodes from Florida State, Xavier Rhodes. And we also look at Kenny Vaccaro, who has a safety. You look and say, we got two solid safeties, but this gives them some youth there. Can also slide in and possibly play the nickel. But, Charles, I think at the end of the day, they need a pass rusher most. That's why I think Kiki Mingo, to me, makes a lot of sense with their first pick. I don't think they'll go running back. But, Paul, at the end of the day, you could look at maybe their first three picks. Kiki Mingo, Jonathan Franklin, and Kelsey, the tight end. Not a bad haul for the Steelers.